And we are live with another end of day report with yours truly, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger Report. All right, so this is slow times in the market. It's the summer. It's the last real month of the summer. We're in the dog days of August, and people are still vacationing and taking time off, all of that good stuff. And not too much going on per se in the markets, but we're still going to take a look anyway. All right, so here is your gold futures chart. Here's how things are shaping up, okay? You can see here, this is the current week's bar, okay, on this weekly chart. And so far, we have the making of a bearish pointer going into next week. We came into this week with a crash alert, and the market did not disappoint. It gave you all this downside. And so nothing has really changed as of yet. Still got a few more days left of trading, but as of right now, you got yourself a bearish pointer. Next up is Theta. This is what Theta is looking like so far. All right, with the Theta, we still have the bulls under control with this one. All right. You've been on a rally alert status for the last couple of weeks, and the market's going to try to get back up to the overhead trend line resistance, and we'll see how far it can get. Yes, good morning to you also in the land down under. My man Mick is in the live. What's up, man? All right, let's see what else we got here. Next up is the Xrp Ripple. And you see Ripple is a running. Came into the week running. Pulse waves are just nailing it. It's been long. System's been staying with that long. And the market's trying to see how far back up toward overhead resistance it can get. It's possible you could run a little bit more here, but as you can see, the bulls are clearly in control from this technical bounce. Next up is Apple Computer. You can see here, this is going on the second week in a row of an inside week. All right, we're trading within this zone right here of the crash alert sell signal. We have not received any downside production yet, but the market is just moving sideways right now and has not kicked in yet. But because the indicators tend to lead the market 3 to 5 bars out, this is just bar number 2 or week number 2. So if we don't get any downside production this week, then possibly going into next week, we might find ourselves with that downside production. Next up is Amazon. So far, we came into this week under the auspices of the crash alert sell signal, and Amazon is starting to give us more downside production on its way to the trend line support around the 3,200 mark. All right, so if you missed the initial signal and you're getting in it now, there's not so much downside potential between where we are now and that trend line support. That's why it's very important to get in on the signals, because you miss a lot of gains when you get in late. So whenever you get a crash alert sell signal or a rally alert buy signal, you want to be prepared and have your orders working and ready to catch those moves. Next up is Bank of America. All right, so far you can see here, we came into this week under the auspices of a rally alert buy signal, and the market is rallying and giving us that upside production. Again, Pulse Wave's nailing it. I think this one is poised to run. I think it wants to go to 45 or 50. We'll see how much momentum can keep going. All right, here is your Facebook on the weekly. You can see so far, kind of an inside week, not really giving you any more upside production. You got the initial rally alert buy signal, but we haven't got that upside production yet. The market's kind of flattening out here. Technically speaking, we're trading within the zone of this crash alert sell signal bar right here. This is the zone we're trading in. You got that initial downside production before the reversal and this sideways moving. So you're trading inside of this zone here. Next up is your gold miners, Gdxj. And you can see here that this one came into the week with that crash alert sell signal. You got that initial downside production, and the market's kind of like hanging over the edge of the cliff. I think this one will continue to push downward. Next up is the infamous GameStop. All right. As you can see here, market is respecting the zones. All right, respecting the zone. So this right here is a minor zone 1, minor zone 2, and this is your major zone here. And the market is trading within this major zone. It's a very wide range, and the market is staying within it. Sideways action is expected until the market decides it wants to do something. Next up is Google. All right, so Google has just been going straight up, very little pullbacks. All right, so right now it's just moving sideways, trading in light of this range bar right here, and giving us no downside production as of yet, just moving sideways. Next up is Microsoft, and Microsoft, as you can see here, just moving sideways, staying within this initial bar right here. No downside production as of yet. Just waiting to see what happens. Are we going to lock in and just fall apart? Or will the bulls come in and try to defend here? This is very interesting crossroads for a lot of the markets. Next up is the Nasdaq 100 futures. All right, so taking a look at the weekly so far, this one is shaping up to create a crash alert sell signal going into next week. Now, we haven't really had a lot going on. You see how narrow this trading range is for the week. No action whatsoever, but it is shaping up that we could get one of these. I think by Friday's close, it could look like either this bar, or maybe even this one, and then give us downside production next week. So I think the pullback is setting itself up to come into fruition next week. Now, we still got time. This can reverse. The market can rally. So we'll see what happens. But right now, that's what it's looking like. It's setting up for a short next week. All right, looking at Netflix. All right, this is your Netflix, okay? And as you can see, you're just moving sideways. Nothing happening. You had the initial crash alert sell signal. The market gave us the downside production. Now it's just moving sideways. But the bears are keeping this market under wraps, making it difficult to rally. Notice where the trend line support is located and the overhead Kumo cloud resistance is trading right in the middle of that under a lot of pressure, making it difficult for Netflix to rally. Oh, let me go back. One more thing, too. On this weekly chart, look how long the market's been moving sideways. Here's your bar right here. Prices have stayed in the range of the bar for the week of July 17th, and we have not moved out of it until now. Look at this. This is crazy. July 17th of 2020, a year of moving sideways. This stock has gone absolutely nowhere for an entire year. You are trading within the super cycle bar of July 17th of 2020 with no escape. Prices are still respecting this range that was established a year ago. All right, that's it. All right, that's it. Not even, almost 100 points, like 80, 90 points. You're not going anywhere. You're just staying right there for years. Now, this was a big old dividend paying stock. This is the kind of chart you want to see for big dividend paying stocks. you know, the traditional old blue chip stocks would move like this. They wouldn't go nowhere. They're not designed to. They're supposed to move sideways because you're not looking for capital gains. You're looking for income. So you expect the stock price to stay relatively the same and not drop significantly, not go anywhere, and you're getting those dividends. So this is what it should look like if you was getting a lot of, nice fat dividend. But if you're not, then your money is not going anywhere and it's losing value. So if you are a buy and hold guy, you're out. You're not holding this. You're not holding this right now. It's not doing anything for you if you're not getting a fat dividend. All right. Next up, the oil sector, ticker OIH, ETF. You can see how it has come way off. And so far, we're creating a rally alert buy signal for next week so far. Now, Friday has not come, and anything can happen. This thing can reverse and fall down or whatever. But so far, it's looking like that's what it wants to do. The bears came into this week in control of the market, but it looks like they're starting to lose some of that control in the market. It is possible. It is possible. And you're right here at the trend line support on the weekly too, where this is where you can get that technical bounce, that defense from the bulls. But just keep in mind, you do have heavy overhead resistance because you are still in a correction zone. Downtrend channel is still in effect. All right, and it's not been broken. So that's just some FYI looking at the oil. As far as bonds, here's ticker TLT on the weekly. So we came into the week with the crash alert sell signal. We did get that downside production, so it did come to fruition. And so far, it's still looking weak. All right, so here we are coming up. Where we just finished hump day. Now we're getting ready to come in, getting closer to Friday, and this is looking weak. And so far, you're below the trend line support. So could be losing some steam here. Could be getting ready to sell off. We'll be watching that. Next up is Wells Fargo. Look at this. Sticking. Now this one is powerful. It looks like it wants to run to 55 or 60. All right. Bulls are clearly in control of this one. So far, this one is looking like a continuation pattern for next week. Next up is the crude oil futures. All right, looking at the futures now. And this one is trying to make up its mind what it wants to be when it grows up. Now, technically, you're in a correction process, but you're not really getting it. You're getting sideways, choppy action. You came into this one with a crash alert sell signal, got that initial downside production, back and fill, crash alert, initial downside production, and then barely able to hardly get back up. So sideways to lower prices looks like it's what you're going to get. Trend line support at 60 is the target, and it looks like it could come off and give you that. Looking very interesting. Here is silver futures. As you know, they got bludgeoned this week along with gold. And you can see so far on the weekly, we're creating a bearish pointer. And it's looking like more downside potential is in store going into next week so far. Dow futures. All right, as you can see here, you have this one hitting new highs. Trying to get closer to 35,500, 35,600. But this one's wide open. And so far looking like it wants to rally into next week. Looking at the mighty Bitcoin futures. All right. Hold on one second. Okay. So this one right now, as you can see here, is looking like it wants to extend the rally and get to 50,000. At this rate, it's wide open now. Technically speaking, so far this week, unless something changes, on the weekly, you have changed from a correction market back to locking in a trending market. Something to think about. All right, so once you get out of this established range bar from the week of May 21st of 2021, once you escape this and get a few solid closes above this, you could see Bitcoin get back in the saddle and back in the game and run away. This is interesting stuff. How about Ethereum? Ethereum has not gotten itself clear from the correction status yet. All right, it's in the green zone, but it still has a way to go to push through the wall. The wall on this one is here. All right, you need to get a few consecutive clear closes above this bar here in order to say, okay, the bottom is done, bottom's in, and now you're changing the overall complexion. This one could still fail, but for right now, so far, looking for a continuation pattern going into the next week, but getting close to the overhead resistance at 3,500. That's something to keep in mind. Euro yen. What is the euro yen telling us about the U.S. equity market? It's still in a correction status now on the euro yen on the weekly, which means bears are in control, and you still have the potential for new lows, especially with the trend line support being right here. So this one is threatening to drop below 128. All right, so interesting, and it's in the red zone, clearly in the red zone. All right, last but not least, natural gas. All right, this obviously is a king error, and I see the problem. Let me fix it for you real quick. I actually see what happened on this one. So go ahead and fix that. All right, there you go. Okay, so on the weekly, the nat gas is so far looking like it wants to create a crash alert sell signal going into next week. Still got time to change that, but so far that's what the natural gas is looking like going into next week. The last rally alert, last crash alert sell signal we got was back here on the flip flop. So this cancels that out. You got to go back to this one. We did get downside production. One before that, we got a little bit of downside production. One before that, it worked. Before that, we got some initial production. Before that, so this could be major. And all the way down here at the $3 mark is your trend line support. Just something to think about. All right, let's see. One more thing, and then we'll be done. Give me 1 second. Give me just a second. Okay, that's not the chart I was looking for. Give me just a second. Trying to find what I'm trying to find here. So give me just a second. Sometimes it can be difficult to find stuff, so just bear with me. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Here's your US dollar index on the weekly. So you can see you're in the Kumo cloud. You're above trend line support. Bulls are clearly in control of this when you are in the green zone. I think it's going to head up here toward the upper end of the range now in the Kumo cloud. You're in a very wide cloud. Bottom side around 91, top side around 97.5. So you got a 6-point trading range in the US dollar. So we're at the 92, 91 handle. I think we're going to get up to around 96 or so. So all things being equal, this one should be headed higher. All right. So a more powerful dollar means weaker currencies, weaker commodities. So that should be something you keep in the back of your mind as well. All right, that's all I got for tonight, you guys. Remember, we're still running that special at PulseWaveTrading.com. You're going to want to go and put in the promo code so you can save $100 off. That is crazy. That's not going to last. It's going away the end of this week. All right, so you're going to want to take advantage of it right now while you still can. I don't know when and if we will be running any more specials. So that's why you're going to want to take advantage of it while you still can, ladies and gentlemen. And with that being said, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.